Residents in Benson are up in arms over an aluminum plant that's beginning to be constructed there. It'll create a lot of jobs there, but there's a lot of people who say, not in my backyard. Terry Jo Neff, our county and courts reporter, has been covering that story in today's paper. You want to pick up about all this. Terry Jo, can you give us a little bit about what these residents are complaining about and what they're trying to do?
Sure. So what's going to happen with this aluminum recycling plant is there's going to be a lot of heat. There's going to be a lot of water usage, and essentially scrap aluminum, let's say old cans, things like that, are going to be melted down. They're then going to be compressed into great big ingots, and when we're talking ingots, we're talking great big ones. And then they're going to be put on rail, and they're going to be shipped to Mississippi, and eventually flattened out into new pieces of aluminum and reused. So absolutely recycling. The problem is, there was a lot of folks who didn't know that this project was coming in. So even though the company and the city of Benson followed all of the requirements, all of a sudden in the last week, folks have found out what's going on down there, and they're concerned. They're concerned about what happens if there's a fire. They're concerned about water being used. A lot of that kind of stuff, and a lot of misinformation is going out there. But the other part of it is because, Matt, that the city is done with its part. It gave them all of its permits last year. And so folks were turning to the city, and the city really didn't have anything to say. So it left an information vacuum, so to speak, and social media took over instead.
And a lot of people seem to be cleaving to the damage it could do potentially to the San Pedro River, but I assume there was an environmental impact study done on this?
Right, so that's all actually being done right now by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality and the EPA. But the company has already gotten the permit that they need when they were going to put that plant in Gila Bend. So the chances of there being some kind of problem here, that there's a very detailed checklist of what the EPA and what the ADEQ look at so that it's consistent with every company. And yes, there are folks who don't want it in their backyard, but the decision on that part of the permit has to be done through a process, and that's moving forward right now.
So all this information, disinformation and misinformation out there, whose fault is that? Was this thing promoted enough?
So I think part of the problem is that the company maybe wasn't prepared. If you go to their website, there is no information about the Benson plant on their website. The city also, as I said, they were done at the end of 2024. They did all of their part. So they really didn't have any answers to be given out. And so when you don't have information out there to, people answering the questions, it kind of spirals out of control.
Absolutely. So what's the next thing to look for here? I guess this is all really just, you said that there was a meeting scheduled for this Sunday.
There was going to be a meeting, a community meeting that was going to be scheduled. It was scheduled for Sunday in Benson. The organizers say that they have canceled that for right now. I don't know if they're looking at a new date, a new location, whatever. We will definitely let folks know. And hopefully somebody from the company will show up and, maybe answer some of those questions.
So when might this open?
At this point, sometime late summer, early fall, we will have the permitting done that deals with the environmental aspect of it. The minute that's done, that company is ready to order all of the stuff and put the buildings up.
Okay, and this is projected to provide 50 to 90 jobs for Benson?
50 to 90 full-time jobs,
yeah,
yes.
Well, that is something to look at, and we'll keep looking at all these factors. Keep reading Terry Jo Neff in the Herald Review, www.myheraldreview.com, and the San Pedro Valley News. I'm Matt, she's Terry Jo. Have a great day.